nobody told Crawford to say anything. Crawford's his own man doing his own thing, and that's how he feels. And we'll see how this thing plays out in the next couple of years.
And guess what? It's free. It's free. How you love that? $180,000 free. How much your belt cost? I wonder how much your belt cost. Huh? I don't see no receipts on your belt. It's crazy. Y'all be having so much taxes on these belts. You got some nerve. It's crazy that you can sit up there and have all these belts. You know, you got the WBC silver, the WBA intern, the whatever belt y'all got, and you taxing these fighters every time they fight, and you claim that you for these fighters. You're not for these fighters. You probably worse than the promoters. But hey, I wish you the best.
While the boxing establishment was losing its mind, Dana White sat at the UFC 323 post-fight press conference, looking like a cat that just stole the whole damn cream factory. On December 6th, reporters pounced the moment he took the mic. For days, the rumor mill had been in overdrive, claiming Dana and his partners at TKO were secretly nudging Crawford to blow up the boxing hierarchy from the inside, whispering in his ear, encouraging him to break ranks, and using his rebellion to shake the foundations of a sport already on shaky legs.
Turkey, I hope y'all get that done, man. I hope y'all get that done so we can all see, you know, people face like this guy, you know, go away from boxing because they ruin the sport with all these antics that they do. You know, they got they ranking systems when people be mandatories for years, like Benavidez. You know, they don't strip these fighters, but I give credit to the IBF. They stripped me. They ain't even give me time. They stripped me, popped me, even though I wasn't, you know, coming back down the weight. But, you know, they handled their business. They did what they were supposed to do. The WBC, you ain't never see them strip no Canelo for the Benavidez. He was what, mandatory for like 2 years? It's crazy. But, you know, that's that favoritism shit.
Dana didn't run from the question, but he did make one thing absolutely clear. Nobody told Crawford to say anything. Crawford is his own man doing his own thing, and that's how he feels. But the real story was in the subtext. Dana wasn't upset about Crawford breaking tradition. He was defending him. He treated Crawford's outburst not as some reckless rant, but as a moment of truth. For years, Dana has said boxing system is broken, bloated, and built to fail. And now the best boxer on the planet was standing on the world stage, proving every one of his points. Dana's grin said more than any quote. The UFC doesn't bleed fighters dry with sanctioning fees, and deep down, he knows the rest of the combat sports world is finally starting to notice.
Boxing starting to fall apart. You know, once there was so much money involved and it got so big, guys started ducking other guys. Then you got the sanctioning bodies in there. We think this guy's the champ. We think this guy's the champ. And then none of those guys would fight each other. That's when it all started to fall apart and break.
This is where things get darker and a little conspiratorial. In that same press conference, Dana tossed out a cryptic line about the Ali Act, the federal law meant to shield boxers from predatory promoters, and he aimed it like a weapon. He blasted today's boxing promoters as hypocrites, exposing the gap between what they preach and how they actually operate. I love that all these boxing guys love the Ali Act the way it is now, he said, leaning in. I want to see how many of them actually stay there. I guarantee you they won't. It wasn't a throwaway comment. It was a shot across the bow, Dana hinting that if the playing field ever became truly fair, the very people claiming to protect fighters would be the first to run.
What did you think of the WBC stripping Terence Crawford of his belt?
Listen, if you look at if you look at how this thing's playing out, and first of all, let me say this. I love that all these guys, all these boxing guys love the Ali Act the way it is now. I want to see how many of them actually stay there and do that version of the Ali Act instead of the add-on that we're going to do. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a fucking rocket scientist to see what's going on with all these guys. They're all these guys that are crying the loudest are the fucking problems. They're the problem. Every one of these guys. And, Crawford, nobody told Crawford to say anything. Crawford's his own man doing his own thing, and that's how he feels. And we'll see how this thing plays out in the next couple of years.
Are you surprised by this frosty reception from the other boxing promoters?
No, not at all. Not at all. But here's the thing that's great for fighters is
What Dana means is simple but brutal. The same people screaming about fighter rights are the ones quietly draining fighters with endless fees, commissions, and sanctioning costs. He's painting boxing's power structure not as a guardian of athletes, but as a parasite feeding off them. By supporting Crawford's refusal to pay, Dana is shining a spotlight on the ugliest flaw in the sport. Everybody gets paid before the fighter does. The sanctioning bodies get their cut, the promoters get their cut, the managers get their cut. And Dana's warning couldn't be clearer or more ominous. As the business shifts and the money stops flowing the way it used to, these so-called old-school protectors won't stand and fight for fairness. They'll run the moment the Ali Act stops padding their pockets.
that they have options. All these promoters are saying the Ali Act is perfect and this is the way it should be. I want to see them all stay in it. I want every one of them to stay in the Ali Act as it is now for the next however many years. Right. I fucking guarantee you they won't.
We can't talk about any of this without addressing the elephant in the room. Zuffa Boxing. Crawford isn't locked into some long-term contract with them, but his Canelo fight was promoted under that banner with the financial muscle of Turkey Alashik behind it, a signal that he's aligned with the new era of boxing, the era with billions to burn and absolutely no patience for outdated traditions. Behind the scenes, the theory swirling through boardrooms is that this entire moment is a coordinated stress test. If the biggest star in the sport refuses to pay sanctioning fees and walks away without losing popularity, momentum, or money, then the sanctioning bodies lose the only leverage they have left. And if Zuffa and TKO can stage mega events without the WBC's blessing or their green belt, then the WBC becomes irrelevant overnight. Dana White isn't just standing up for a fighter here. He's watching the foundation of his competition's business model start to crack. He didn't need to whisper anything in Crawford's ear because the ecosystem Zuffa is building is already teaching fighters that they don't need three-letter organizations to sell pay-per-views. They just need the fights fans actually want.
You wind up putting it right back into the sport, and then an even bigger one comes along, and you just signed a rights package for $7.7 billion for the UFC. We're talking about NFL, NBA, MLB type numbers, starting to get into that territory, rights deals that boxing has never had. Do you think it's possible to build a boxing business to that kind of scale?
That's the plan, and you're absolutely right. It's one of my. When I think about the boxing guys, all the boxing guys, all these guys that talk smack and all the dumb stuff that's said, these guys have been in the business for 100 years and none of them have done anything. I've never seen a business where there's been trillions of dollars in revenue and at the end of the day, there's nothing there because none of them reinvested in the sport of boxing. Every time they put on an event, it's a going out of business sale. We have reinvested hundreds of millions of dollars into the sport of MMA and into the UFC. And yes, we will do the same with boxing.
The WBC's reaction has been nothing short of desperate. Almost the moment they stripped Crawford, they rushed to order a fight between Hamza Shiraz and Christian Bilai for the suddenly vacant title, scrambling to crown a new champion as fast as possible, anything to create the illusion that nothing is wrong, that the green belt still carries the same weight even as the man who made it relevant just walked away from it.
It is just regrettable, not even a thank you or or I'm sorry, taking a different route, no response. I wish him the best. But this is not. The WBC is huge, it's great, it's about greatness, and I'm relieved, to tell you the truth.
So yeah, you got it over with and you immediately came back with a solution, which is going to be a fight for the vacant title. Hamza Shiraz against Christian Mbele, who we just saw on the Canelo Crawford undercard in that great fight against Lester Martinez. And you put Lester Martinez in position to fight the winner.
Absolutely.
You feel like that's an adequate response? Like this is going to be an entertaining thing for the fight fans?
Yes, it's a great fight, and Billy is very entertaining. He comes forward. Hamza Shiraz just had the best fight of his career, knocking out Berlanga dramatically in New York.
Yeah.
And Lester Martinez had an unbelievable fight with Mbili. He's going to fight the winner. So there's great movement. Whenever Canelo is ready, after his surgery, when he's recovered, he's in the mix. And we have other fighters fighting, so it's going to be great activity.
But read the room. Nobody cares. Fans aren't fooled for a second. They know Crawford is still the guy who beat the guy. The real king of the division, belt or no belt.
They're money-making schemes at the end of the day. I personally, listen, anybody that's listened to any of my stuff going forward, I think we could do without sanctioning bodies. I think we could all move forward with just having one champion, one per division. I know that people will come up to me and say, well, more opportunities when there's more belts and all this type of stuff. But at the end of the day, if we get boxing right, opportunities will fall for people. If the WBC played along with their own rules all the time, to the letter, I would probably sit here and have a different opinion, but they don't. They make things up as they go along. For example, the Conor Benn scenario, right? He failed a drug test as per the clean boxing program, which is run by the WBC. The WBC provide Ben with an alternative reason to the one that he gave them, because the one that he gave, if it is true, would open up the WBC to litigation of every single fighter that has ever failed a test and served the ban under the clean boxing program. Conor Benn told them that there was a flaw in the testing process. They said that that's nonsense, so therefore they provided him the excuse of eating too many eggs. Conor Benn never came up with that excuse. That was a WBC reasoning. Also, we've seen this week alone, the WBC 140-pound champion, Subriel Matias. He's failed a drug test. Instead of cancelling an upcoming fight with Dalton Smith, which is coming up in January, he's been allowed to continue because the WBC don't operate strict liability. In 2019, this is an important part of this story. In 2019, a 28-year-old fighter called Maxim Dadyshev died as a result of injuries sustained in a fight with Subriel Matias. This should be investigated massively off the back of the news of him failing a drug test in recent times. Here's the best one, and this has only happened in the last 2 days.